Alright, class 12, the next chapter that we are going to start with is cost and revenue analysis. We have already talked about in the previous chapter that was the theory of production, and the theory of production it provides a basis for this theory, that is the theory of cost. We talked about a little in the previous discussion, right? So in this chapter we will be seeing that how cost varies with variation in output. There in the previous chapter we were seeing the how the output varies when the factors of production, the ratio proportion of factors of production was variated. Here we will be seeing that how the cost varies with variation in output, right? And after that, after seeing this cost, we will be seeing the various cost curves and their concepts and their cost shapes also, and then we will also be explaining the concept of revenue. And revenue is the amount of income which a firm gets by selling the goods that it has produced. So these two things we will be discussing over here in this chapter. So the basically the concept of cost of production is, it has a variety of meanings. We will be discussing all those meanings over here. That is all the concepts of cost we will be discussing over here. The first concept of cost is the money cost, and to money cost we can also call accounting cost or explicit cost. Now these are the three different terms. We can say these are synonyms, and their application, you can say, is different. The first is money cost. Now money cost, it refers to the money expenses which the firm has to incur, which the firm has to spend or bear in purchasing or hiring the factor services in order to produce a commodity. It is very simple. That is, when the firm has decided to produce a commodity, the expenses which a firm incurs in purchasing or hiring factors of production, those expenses are known as money cost for the firm. Now these expenses, they include the money expenditure of a firm on wages and salaries that are paid to the staff, that is paid to the labor, the expenses incurred on machinery, that is capital and equipment, and payment of interest on borrowings, the loans that the firm has taken, rental payments, payment for raw material, power, etc. All these payments, they are known as money expenses which the firm incurs, and they are known as money cost. The second is accounting cost, the same synonym for the same. Now being an account student, being a commerce student, you all know that you maintain an account book, right? You maintain accounting book, and a firm always enters all the expenses in the accounting book. Now when the same expenses which are just now talked about, when these expenses, they are recorded in these accounting books, these actual money expenses made by the firm, when they are recorded in the accounting books, the same concept is known as accounting cost or business cost. In a definite term, we can say accounting books of the firm record these actual money expenses that are made by the firm on the factors of production as the cost of production. So this concept of cost is known as accounting cost or business cost. All right. So these are the two terms. The third is explicit cost. Now money payments made by the firm. When we talked about money cost, we said the money expenses. Now a slight change, we say the money payments made by the firm to the owners of various factor services. So this has become the income of the various factor services. In purchasing and hiring the factor services required in the production of a commodity is known as explicit cost, right? So the same concept, when you say the money expenses which are made by the firm to the owners of various factor services in purchasing or hiring factors of production required in production of a commodity, they are known as explicit cost. I hope this concept of cost is clear. Then the next concept of cost is economic cost, and we will be using this concept over here in the study of this chapter. Now economic cost is made up of three components, or the components of economic cost are three One is money cost or explicit cost that you have already been aware of. Then second is implicit cost, and third is normal profit. Now implicit cost, it refers to the imputed or estimated value of inputs that are owned by the firm and used by it in its own production unit. Now this concept is slightly different from the above one, from the previous one. Now here what we are saying, that some generally the firm is purchasing or hiring factor services, but here we are saying that sometimes the firm or the producer may own certain factor services, and he may use these factor services in his own production unit. When it happens, the cost of these factors of production is estimated. The income or the value that may be earned by the producer is estimated, and that estimated value is known as implicit cost, right? For example, a producer may use his own factor services in the process of production, right? The owner or the entrepreneur may own certain factor services which he may use in his own business. For example, the entrepreneur may contribute his own land, his own capital, or may provide entrepreneurial and managerial services. Any of the factor service the entrepreneur may own or the producer may own and can provide for his own business process. As such, otherwise he is entitled to receive rent on his land if he is providing a rent, interest on the capital which he has contributed for his own business, or payment for other such services. Otherwise he is entitled to receive payment for all the factor services which he would have sold to someone else, right? But right now he is not selling these factor services to anybody else, but he is using it in his own production unit. So in case of such factors of production that the firm neither purchases nor hires, the cost must also be calculated. Here economic cost, right? Such cost is known as implicit cost. Now the third component of economic cost is the normal profit. Now normal profit can be defined as the minimum payment which a producer must get in order to induce him to undertake risk of production. You can also say that normal profit is the minimum supply price. Now normal profit is the minimum supply price, means it is the minimum payment which a producer must earn, that is over and above the cost. He must earn something more, that is minimum, in order to take the risk of business the next time, right? This is what you mean by normal profit, and we can say that normal profit is the minimum supply price of the entrepreneurship services. It represents the cost needed to keep the firm in business. This is what the normal profit represents. The next concept of cost is the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of any good is the next best alternative good that is given up to produce this good, right? You can understand it this way, that when you are picking up something, you are also giving up something, right? If you have to definitely you decide for the two best things you decide, but you cannot, since the resources are scarce. This concept comes only because the scarcity of the resources. So when you have limited resources, you cannot produce both the commodities. So when you are picking up one, when you are deciding to pick up one, you are also deciding at the same time to give up the other. So whatever you are giving up, in terms opportunity cost means that you are giving the cost in terms of deciding not to produce the next best alternative good, and that you have decided to produce this good. Now the cost of producing a quantity of a commodity is measured here in terms of quantity of some other commodity that could have been obtained instead of this commodity. So the opportunity cost arises because of the problem of scarcity of resources and the fact that the resources have alternative uses. We can understand with the help of an example. For example, that the given resources may be used for the production of cloth as well as bread. Both the things can be produced either, right? If a given amount of resources can produce 1 meter of cloth or 20 loaves of bread, one or the other, then the cost of 1 meter of cloth is 20 loaves of bread, which need to be sacrificed in order to produce 1 meter of cloth. So if you decide to produce 1 meter of cloth, you are the cost of 1 meter of cloth is 20 loaves of bread. This is what you mean by opportunity cost. Then the applications of opportunity cost are there in the book, but they are not in your syllabus, so we will not be taking them up. Then the next concept of cost is real cost. Real cost refers to the efforts and sacrifices. Now this is some different from material aspect. This is something different. Real cost refers to the efforts and sacrifices that are made by the owners of factors of production used in the production of a commodity. For example, labor has to put physical and mental efforts in doing a work. Owners of capital and land have to make sacrifices by not using these resources themselves, or in terms of sacrifices involved in saving and capital accumulation. So real cost refers to the pain, sacrifice, discomfort and disutility which is involved in providing factor services required to produce a commodity to someone else and not using them for your own sake. This is what you mean by real cost. Then next is private cost and social cost. Private cost refers to the cost of production incurred by an individual firm in producing a commodity. I hope this is very simple. I need not to explain it anymore. For an individual producer, cost includes both explicit cost as well as implicit cost. So we can say private cost is the same as the economic cost. Then social cost, on the other hand, it refers to the cost that the society has to bear. The private cost was bared by an individual firm. Now social cost is the cost which the society has to bear on account of the production of a commodity. So what we see is that social cost is a wider concept than the private cost. Why? Because it is the sum total. That is, social cost is the sum total of the cost incurred by the producers of goods and services, that is private cost we talked about, and the cost experienced by the society who have to suffer because of the production of the commodity in terms of external cost. So the social cost is the summation of private cost and external cost. In what terms the society is paying the cost? In terms of pollution, in terms of the garbage, in terms of drainage of all smoke in the air, all pollution, all these things, they are external cost. The noise pollution, all these things, they are all leading to suffering of the society, and society is bearing this cost, and this is known as external cost. So social cost is equal to private cost plus external cost. Children, after covering all the basic concepts of cost, now we have come to the topic of behavior of cost in the short run. Now when you say behavior of cost in the short run, you mean to say that how cost varies with output, and the cost depends upon the nature of production, that is, the output depends upon the nature of production function, and corresponding to the short run and long run that you have already studied previously, we have two kinds of production function also. Similarly, we have two kinds of cost functions also. One is short run cost function and the second is long run cost function, as we have short run production function and long run production function. And accordingly, we can explain the behavior depending on these two kinds of production function and cost function. Accordingly, we can explain the behavior of cost also with change in output in the short run and in the long run. Now, we already talked about that short run is a period where certain factors are considered to be fixed and certain other factors of production, they are considered to be variable. Right, fixed factors, the amount are those factors the amount of which cannot be changed, and variable factors are those factors whose amount can be changed in the short run. Right, so accordingly we classify them on as per fixed factors and variable factors. The examples of fixed factors we already know, such as capital equipments, factory building, management, etc. These are all fixed factors. They are the factors the quantity of which can neither be increased nor decreased in the short run. Right, so we can also say that fixed inputs or factors, they do not depend upon the level of output. What do you mean by that? They do not depend on the level of output. That is, that whether you are changing the output, you are increasing the output or decreasing the output, the amount of fixed factors cannot be changed. Variable factors, on the other hand, are those factors the supply of which can be easily changed by any desired quantity in the short run. Now, the quantities of variable inputs rise and fall according to the need of output. As if you want to increase the amount of output, you will be increasing the amount of variable factor, and if you want to decrease the output, you will have to decrease the amount of variable factor. Corresponding to fixed factors and variable factors, economic cost. We have already talked about economic cost. Economic cost comprises of explicit cost, implicit cost and normal profit. So, corresponding to fixed factors and variable factors, economic cost is classified into two categories: fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed cost is the cost which is incurred on fixed factors, right? For example, the salary of the permanent staff, interest of on the borrowed capital, rent on the factory building, these are all fixed expenditures of the firm and they are known as fixed cost, right? Similarly, variable cost is the cost which is incurred on variable factors. Again, for example, you can say the expenses, the salaries that is paid to casual workers, running expenses like electricity bill, taxes on the type of excise duties, they all fall in the category of variable cost. And then total cost of production is the sum total of fixed and variable cost. So, economic cost can be looked at from the viewpoint of total cost or from the viewpoint of per unit cost, right? Per unit cost is the average cost that will come to later on. So, just as there are concept of total, average and marginal products as you had seen in the previous chapter, similarly on the same token we have the concept of cost also, that is total, average and marginal cost, and according to that the short run cost can be classified as follows, right? So, children, you can see the slide. The slide shows the classification of the short run cost curves. The major classification is between total cost, average cost and marginal cost, followed by sub-classification of total cost curves into total fixed cost and total variable cost. Similarly, average cost is also sub-classified into two groups: average fixed cost and average variable cost. Marginal cost has no classification. This is the classification or the flow chart of the short run cost curves.